All right, we've got February 2nd, 2025. This is the reading of Exodus chapter 4, verse 18, all the way through Exodus chapter 7, verse 13. We've got the Lord calling out Moses and as telling him he needs to go to Egypt. But then, right in that, he confronts him. And in another version, I believe it says, talks to him about killing him with a sickness. And the NLT is just confronts him to kill him. But when Zipporah saw that sickness and saw that death looming over Moses, she then circumcises their son. So that tells me their son had not been circumcised as commanded, and I believe that's what was coming against Moses. That's why he wasn't without sin. He wasn't in the right frame, in the right place. He needed to have done that. But he had not done that because there was obviously some friction between him and his religion and his wife. And Zipporah, this was the part that gets me, and I've looked at this before, and I don't remember exactly, but Zipporah recognized the authority of God because of the sickness. So she circumcised the son, and then she touches his feet with the foreskin and says, "You are now a bridegroom of blood to me." I don't quite understand that. That doesn't make sense to me. There's something there. I don't know if that's a reference and a pointing to Jesus and his blood being something, or that's her giving into being obedient to the God of Moses, of actually the creator of all things. But regardless, that one, there's a lot of mystery there. And I think it's okay with that, but it's something we should be seeking out and looking and thinking of. And we get Moses meeting with Aaron, and then the two of them meeting with the elders of the Israelites. And the Israelites realize that God has seen their struggles, and they actually bow down and praise God, right? They're happy that God has heard them in their struggles and in their pain and their crying out. He's heard their crying out, and now he's told them he has heard them. That's a good thing, but we see where it gets a lot worse for the Israelites before it ever gets better. They get increased work and no relief, and now they have to find their own straw, and they can't get any help to do that. They have to chase that down. But it takes God to go through all these signs. He says that I will make Pharaoh's heart hard, Pharaoh's heart stubborn, so I can multiply my miraculous signs and wonders in the land of Egypt. So sometimes we have to wait on God. We have to wait for the perfect timing for God to do what needs to be done. In this case, he was going to do a great and wonderful thing, but he didn't. If he did it too soon, there wouldn't be all these signs and miracles to show. Not that the Israelites even realize this later on, but that's way far ahead. We're looking too far ahead. Right now, we're looking at now that's saying I'm gonna do a lot of signs and miracles, but it's gonna take me hardening Pharaoh's heart and making him wait. But the people of Israel, they lost hope pretty quick. As soon as that increased work, they just started scrambling and cried out to Moses and Aaron, saying, this is too much. And Moses wasn't any better. He did the same thing. He said, God, why are you making me do this? They're not listening to me. So seems pretty whiny, but that's us. That's how often does that happen to us? Like, God, take this away. And when he doesn't right now, we get a little whiny and crybaby about it. That's kind of how we are. That's our nature. But that's one thing. It does happen, though. God did stand on his promise. He put up with the whining and the crying, and then he delivered. So it happens. He's good. He stands on his promise, even when we lose hope. Then we get into that genealogy portion of the Bible, which there seems to be a lot of, which I don't fully understand, but that seems to be a theme throughout the Bible, that we get these genealogies. We've gotten it before already, and we will get it again and again. And there's something to that. What it is, I don't know. but it's there, and it's there for a reason. It's there for importance. It has a purpose, and it's not something that I put any time into studying or figuring out. Um, then the part that my last little thing that I was pondered and thought about and wondered is, let's see, we know the power of God caused Moses to be able to throw down the staff, and the power of God turned that staff into a snake. And he did that for Moses, and then he did that for Aaron. In this case, Aaron did that in front of Pharaoh, and then Pharaoh called in his magicians, and they also threw down their staffs, and they also became snakes. Now, was that the question I have then, is that a manifestation of the power, not of God, because they didn't have that power of God, but would have been that the power of Satan that caused them to be able to do that through a dark magic, or was that a sleight of hand, if you will? A lot of magicians. The magicians that we see today are all about sleight of hand and making something look like it is what it wasn't. That's the whole power of magic. But in this case, was that kind of thing, or were they summoning the power and the magic of Satan through that? That's something to think about, because we know that can't be the power of God, because well, maybe that is. What is that? Something to ponder, something to think about. Stretch on that. But we do see that Aaron's staff swallowed up their staffs. So regardless of what was going on there, Aaron's staff, God's power overshadows theirs by a long ways. It just takes care of it. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on this reading today. More to come.